that LeVar Walker Show, where the real ones talk and the wild thoughts go. We laugh, we cry, yeah, we let it roll. Healing through a joke and a story for the soul. This that LeVar Walker Show. Turn it up loud, let the whole block know. From pain to punchlines, watch the wisdom glow. Yeah, this that LeVar Walker Show. Oh yeah, you turn scars into skits, old wounds into bits. Every call in, every friend feels like Sunday once again. From the grind to the glow up, glass half empty, you pour more up. You take the weight we hold below and lift it on the LeVar Walker Show. This that LeVar Walker Show, where the real ones talk and the wild thoughts go. We laugh, we cry, yeah, we let it roll. Healing through a joke and a story for the soul. This that LeVar Walker Show. Turn it up loud, let the whole block know. From pain to punchlines, watch the wisdom glow. Yeah, this that LeVar Walker Show. Hey, some days heavy, some days light. You still find a way to make it feel alright. When the world's too loud, when the bill's too high, I press play, hear your voice, and I remember why. This that LeVar Walker Show, where the real ones talk and the wild thoughts go. We laugh, we cry.
What's going on? Happy Tuesday, and welcome back to the greatest show on earth. We are live at the LeVar Walker Show podcast. Y'all know how we do. Coming to y'all every day. Every day. I've been consistent now, man. Every single day, Monday, Tuesday. I'm gonna come with it for y'all Monday through Friday. Hope you guys had a great Monday, but today is Tuesday. We on to something new, something different, and we got a lot to discuss, so I'm not going to hold back. Yesterday, the National Association of Black Journalists gave Stephen A. Smith a Thumbs Down award. I didn't know what the Thumbs Down award was. I guess it was a disapproval because Stephen A. Smith said disparaging things about black females. So he said disparaging things about black female political figures or something like that. So he was given this award. It pissed Stephen A. Smith off. He went on his podcast and went in. And, when I was looking at it, I have my thoughts about it. Stephen A. Smith, over the years, rising to prominence, rising to be, the top sports commentator, getting a $200 million deal. He's been called a coon on several occasions, right? And in this particular instance, and I know this might be a controversial take, but at the end of the day, and look, I'm no fan necessarily of Stephen A. Smith. He said a lot of things that have pissed me off as well. However, I do believe that we should give him the same journalistic freedom as we do anybody else. And in this particular instance, I don't know why he can't criticize black women. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, you don't criticize white people. And I thought about that, and I said, he doesn't criticize white people? I said, huh. So I pulled up. They say he don't criticize Donald Trump. He don't criticize a lot of white people. He just picks on primarily the black community. So I did a little research with my trusty friend Gemini. And I asked Gemini, I said, wait a minute. I guess my Gemini didn't know. they did. Yeah. So I asked Gemini, does Stephen A. Smith uh, speak out or criticize whites, and does he criticize Donald Trump? Now I know a lot of people's in their feelings, but this is fact. So this is what Gemini told me. Du- 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 du. I said, has Stephen A. Smith ever criticized Donald Trump? And this is before I get into the National Association of Black Journalists and a lot of black people being in their feelings in regards to Stephen A. Smith. This was asked by Gemini, right? This was a AI artificial that it scrubs the internet, whatever. So anyway, I said, has Stephen A. Smith ever criticized Donald Trump? And Gemini responds, yes, Stephen A. Smith has criticized Donald Trump on numerous occasions across various platforms, including ESPN's First Take, his podcast, The Stephen A. Smith Show, formerly Straight Shooter, and cable news appearances. Key instances include attacks on athletes. Smith has frequently pushed back when Trump clashed with high profile athletes. For instance, he strongly criticized Trump rhetoric regarding NFL player protests, describing his tone as divisive and unbecoming of the presidency. He has also repeatedly defended athletes like LeBron James against personal attacks from Trump. Divisive rhetoric and tone. Smith has frequently called out Trump for what he views as selfish, chaotic, or overly polarizing behavior, arguing that his conduct often deepens political and social divisions rather than unity, uniting the country. Political hypocrisy and double standards. On his podcast, Smith has taken issue with specific political controversies, such as calling out the hypocrisy and rhetoric surrounding protesters and political unrest. Sports and cultural events. Smith famously called out Trump for attending Game 3 of the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden, arguing that the security disruptions inconvenienced fans and players, and mockingly blamed him for disrupting the New York Knicks' momentum. I also asked Gemini, has Stephen A. Smith criticized white athletes? Stephen A. Smith has criticized many white athletes throughout his career across ESPN's First Take Sports commentary segments and his podcast. Aaron Rodgers. Smith has frequently taken aim at Rodgers over the years, criticizing his playoff underperformances, his drama with front office, and his misleading public statements regarding his COVID-19 vaccination status. That's one white athlete. Tim Tebow. During the height of Tebow mania, Smith was one of the most vocal critics of Tebow's mechanics and viability as an NFL starting quarterback, often debating Skip Bayless over Tebow's skill level. That's the second white person. Baker Mayfield. Smith repeatedly criticized Mayfield's consistency, leadership, and public comments during his tenures with the Cleveland Browns and Carolina Panthers. Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic. While Smith routinely acknowledges their elite talent, he has targeted Doncic for conditioning and defensive lapses and has had heated debates regarding MVP voting narratives surrounding Jokic. Carson Wentz and Mac Jones. Smith frequently scrutinized Wentz's decisions making and regression in Philadelphia and Washington, and regularly called out Jones' limitations during his struggles with the New England Patriots. So this is Stephen A. Smith criticizing Donald Trump, criticizing white athletes. So then I said, because him getting this thumbs down award is because he criticized black females in power or something. So I said, has Stephen A. Smith criticized white females? Yes, Stephen A. Smith has criticized several high-profile white women across sports, politics, and media when critiquing their public decisions, rhetoric, or professional performances. Hillary Clinton. Smith has repeatedly criticized Clinton on his podcast and during political panels, particularly regarding her 2016 campaign strategy, her public commentary following her election loss, and her continued critiques of voters. Caitlin Clark. While Smith is often one of Clark's fiercest defenders regarding her commercial value and television impact, he has also directly challenged her. He publicly criticized her approach to handling media narratives, arguing that she has responsibility as a marquee star to speak out more directly about the intense online rhetoric and controversy surrounding physical play in the NBA. Nancy Pelosi. On this podcast and political guest appearance, Smith has frequently targeted Pelosi's leadership and political messaging, arguing at times that old establishment leadership has alienated younger working class voters. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Smith has strongly denounced Congresswoman Greene on multiple occasions, called out her rhetoric, conspiracy theories, and divisive conduct in Congress as harmful to national discourse. Rhonda Rousey, following her high-profile knockout losses to Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes, Smith heavily criticized Rousey's refusal to speak with media, her inability to adapt, her striking game, and her handling of defeat. So we have just debunked. He's talked about Trump. He's talked about numerous white people, white athletes. He's talked about a lot of white women in politics and who are famous. So the National Association of Black Journalists, they give him a thumbs down because he said, I guess, disparaging rhetoric against black women. So is it a thing of now with him being a black journalist, is he not able to criticize, because he criticized the president, he criticized the white people, he criticized the white athletes. So are black women off the table? Are black women off the table? This is what I want to know. This is what I want to know. And I get it, you know, people in their feelings and shit. He cool, he do this, he do that. But it seems like you're honing in and people are picking what they want to pick out of who he criticizes. But based on the facts of the evidence, the man criticizes and talks shit about everybody. That's what this is the data I've collected. Now, if you disagree with me, tell me where I'm wrong. Please tell me where I'm wrong. Why can he not criticize? He's a journalist. Why won't the National Association of Black Journalists give him freedom, or what's called freedom of speech, where he criticizes everybody? That's what he does. Charlemagne the God made a career off of criticizing black women and black people too. I don't get it. We're cherry picking. And I think what happens in the community, Stephen A. Smith has become a victim of his success. This is a man that has climbed. He's made $200 million. He's the #1 broadcast. This is a black man that went to HBCU, that, you know, cut his bones in the black community, that has brought numerous opportunities back to black journalists. And listen, I'm no fan. I'm just stating fact. He brought ESPN to black colleges. He's opened doors for people. So why cut his nuts off in front of the public? Why should his nuts be cut off by his own people? I have an issue with that. And the National Black Journalists, the National Association of Black Journalists, I even pulled up something else where they gave Cardi B an award. You award Cardi B, who's black by convenience. She's black by convenience. Who's robbed and drugged men, who was a stripper, 2 baby daddies, all them kids. But she's awarded. And his nuts are cut off for just criticizing people. A black man went to HBCU, worked his ass off. Now, I take offense to it because guess what? I'm a black man, went to HBCU, who lives in an all-black community. And a lot of times, I voice my frustrations with nigga behavior because I live around all black people. I'm not worried about the white man. I'm in my community. I'm in my community. I'm going to be affected by niggas in my community. That's why I voice it. But people often, man, you a coon. You talking about, why you talking about nigga? Because it affects me. I don't live in a gated community with Jamel Hill and all these niggas that live with the white people and are married to white people. I don't. I live in an all-black neighborhood with a black wife, a black child, in the blackest city in America. But when you call out certain things or certain behaviors of ignorance, you're labeled a coon. And it has to stop. It has to stop. Like, it's weird to me, man. I don't get that. The man done bought opportunity to people, and they want to tear him down. He's a victim of his success. Kevin Hart is feeling it. Michael Jordan felt it at the height. You know, you make it. You can only make it so far, and niggas tear you down. Now I see Jamil Hill sitting with Don Lemon explaining how the fuck can Don Lemon tell any black person about black problems when he's married to a white man? How? Make this make sense to me. Make it make sense. You're sitting here telling me, and you gonna go in that back room with that white man. He gonna bend that ass over. But I'm supposed to sit here and listen to you about all these issues. Most of these people don't even marry black people. And they tearing the man down. I don't get it. I personally don't get it. And I'm sure, what I'm saying, I'm going to be probably labeled a coon or whatever. Oh, you trying to get over Stephen A. Smith, which I'm not. I'm not trying to get on anybody. As y'all see every morning I get up, I'm building this brick by brick myself. I don't look at anybody's ice is colder than mine. We've had this conversation over and over again. But I'm just calling out the hypocrisy. All the shit he's talking, even when he's talking stuff about, not about black male athletes, nothing about nothing else, but just the black female. Ain't say nothing about her. You lose all your shit. They take you. You lose everything. Why the fuck they can't be criticized? Why? They want equality. They want to be included in everything. They can be criticized. That doesn't mean he hates black women. The man got a black mama. He was raised by black sisters. He has a black daughter. He's around black women all the time, giving opportunity to them. So how can the man not criticize? That is what he gets paid to do. I don't get it. This is a level of insanity unseen. All you want to put him in a box just to march to the beat of the drum. It's not like, this is stupid. This is stupid. If you don't think a certain way as a black person, I have to think exactly like every other black person, or I'm ostracized from the group. What is that? Are we all identical? Like we just move? That's how you control the people. That's being controlled. So I don't get it. I don't get it. And I was looking at, and see, look, let's just listen to what, okay, Don Lemon, I believe, they were talking about this. I'm going to pull this up.
They've been unfair. The answer is no.
Let me see. See, one thing about me as a comedian and as somebody that, look, never trust people that that are evergreen. Never trust people that just go along to get along. Don't trust them type of comedians. They full of shit. And they live very dark lives. See, I'm telling y'all my honest opinion. Even at the cost of some people are going to go against it, and that's okay. This is me being human and being real. But let's listen to this and see what we got going on.
A little nuance, okay?
Yeah.
Now, has Stephen A. been, have the criticisms of Stephen A. been unfair? The answer is no. I think they've been completely fair, and I think a lot of them have been valid in terms of, as I was talking about, that different energy. And I'm trying to understand where that comes from. And I think politically, people definitely have a problem with how he's used his platform. and who he has platformed on his platform, and kind of the circles that he seems to be ingratiating himself with.
Y'all don't think he opened up doors for Jamel Hill? Did he not open up doors for Shannon Sharp? What is this?
It leaves a little, leaves one to raise the eyebrows and say, okay, what's really going on here? You're flirting with running for president. We know that you're friends with some interesting people, to say the least. And I don't want to be getting into business of judging people by their friend groups, but I think people can see the dynamic of what's unfolding and saying, like, who is he trying to ingratiate himself to and why? So there's that component of it, which I think those are fair observations and criticisms.
I do judge people by their film group.
You know what I find so funny when they do these, Stephen A. Smith, he not a street nigga kicking niggas' backs in. He doesn't put out like stupid ass music. They never seem to criticize that. Never. They never seem to criticize that shit. They dance to it.
But they're
okay. All right. I mean, I understand,
yeah. It says a lot about who you are.
Serial killer, all right. Y'all be looking at me crazy too. I got it.
Exactly.
I got understand. It. So yeah. I get that. And I think those are fair criticisms and observations. But here's where it gets to me a little thorny. Yes, it is true that First Take, you mentioned this, they brought the show to NABJ. Part of that is because Stephen A. has exhibited an actual commitment to Black journalism. He's an HBCU graduate. He's taken the show on the road, as in First Take, to many HBCUs.
Now, do you hear this? What Stephen has done? Bringing that to the NABJ, giving him homage, letting him know he started there, and they're cutting his nuts off.
And while he wasn't the first show at ESPN to do that, my show actually was. But when I had his and hers, we went to Howard's Homecoming and did a big show. But that's okay. That's neither here nor there. It's not about me. But he has done that. And knowing a little bit with how he operates his show, there are Black people that work on his show that he is actively, intentionally hired to bring Black folks at the producer level, at other levels in our industry, to bring them into the fold. There are a lot of Black people who can say, Stephen A. helped me with my career. That Stephen A., he elevated me in this way. When he had his show, quite frankly, on ESPN, it is true, he created a segment strictly for Black voices on his show because there wasn't a lot of Black columnists. I was one of the Black columnists that appeared on his show. Me, Rob Parker, Gary Howard. It was very few of us. Stephen A., it is true, gave us a platform to do those things. So while I do understand that how he has done and moved and operated in certain ways has gone against the mission of NABJ, and that thumbs down award, that is what it is supposed to address, I do think the body of work should matter. And Stephen A. does not have a lengthy track record, I think, of going against the core and the root of what Black journalism is. And while I don't like a lot of the things that he has said, I also cannot absolve or cannot erase the contributions he's made, both as a Black journalist himself and also as somebody who has tried in many instances to use his position to help other Black journalists. Okay.
Completely fair. And nuance, which people don't like in this day and age. They're just like, it's not like the Black journalists were calling him, the sellout or, the Uncle Tom or the coon, right? No, they weren't doing that.
Some people do. Like that's
some people do. But I'm saying NABJ was not doing that.
NABJ
Basically,
did
they were
not do
saying
that.
What he's doing on the air is not good or detrimental to Black people and Black journalists. That's their opinion. They can do it. They're an organization. They are Black journalists. Okay, a Black journalist organization. However, he thinks what he's doing for the Black community you're more in line. You're saying basically what he has said before about the Black community. But I think sometimes people can be too close to it and they can't see the forest for the trees. I have been there. I'm sure you have been there. And sometimes it takes a person who is your friend, or maybe not so much your friend, to say, hey, look, what are you doing? Can you see yourself? I've had those moments with Spike. I've had those moments with other. Well, Spike will say, "Hey, man, look, let me see." I've had those moments with DL. DL and now I are dear friends now. We tour together, right? We didn't always see eye to eye, but sometimes you can't. You got to let your ego go and go, okay, what am I not seeing? And perhaps I am too close to the corporation, if you know what I'm saying.
I do.
You know what I mean? Because if you're a journalist, pretty much you should not be so aligned to the corporation. That is not your job. Your job is to disseminate factual information. Your job is to be a good communicator. Your job is to inform and enlighten. And in many ways, if you're a Black journalist, your job is to offer opportunities to other Black journalists if you're in a position like Stephen A. Smith, and also to be able to bring those conversations to the fore, to be able to bring the nuance to the fore without sounding like you are, hey man, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's.
Yeah, that's a very whack take on Don Lemon. Like, that's called being entertaining and not boring as fuck. And that's just him being himself. So that's a whack take. 540 Dre says, it's funny you say everybody wants him to think like everyone else, but you're here saying everyone else is wrong for they're not wrong for their opposing views. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the NABJ specifically is wrong for giving him the thumbs down award based on his assessments or his critique of Black women or whatever. So let's see exactly what the award was for.
Smith has.
So we're gonna look at this. This is the actual them giving the thumbs down award here. So let's listen to this.
Stephen A. Smith, sports analyst and political commentator. Smith has established a recurring public pattern of disparaging commentary directed at prominent Black women across politics, sports, and media. Such commentary reinforces harmful narratives, undermines the fair and respectful representation of Black women in public discourse, and stands in direct conflict with NABJ's long-standing commitment to accurate, responsible, and inclusive portrayals of Black communities.
So this is, like I say, it's only about Black women, which to me seems to be very, very biased. Because as we've said, he's talked about Black men, white men, the president, white female athletes, and also white women in power. So it seems like he seems to be well-rounded, if you ask me. However, people will zone in and cherry pick those things that they want to see or go with whatever narrative they want to go with. And I just believe at this point, if Stephen A. Smith is a victim of anything, he's a victim of his success. And heavy is the head that wears the crown. That's how I feel. Now, I also want to review where Stephen goes in, and he got on his podcast to talk about to review. Let me see what he had to say. Let's watch what Stephen had to say. See, let's find this podcast. And then we're going to get to the bigger part of why I feel this award was given and where this award comes from. And then we're going to talk about how I believe to a large extent we're pawns. I want to get him reacting to this. Stephen A. Smith reacts to the okay. Stephen A. Smith reacts to thumbs down award. Let me go to YouTube and find that then. Let's see. Yeah, let's review this. I reviewed a little bit of it, but we can review it right here. Okay. Let's see what Stephen A. Smith got to say. Let's go to the horse's mouth.
Vacation. I've been out of the mix the last few days because I'm busy about to send my daughter to college. And while I was hanging out with her for dinner on Saturday night, I saw that the National Association for Black Journalists gave me a thumbs down award. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are expecting me to go nuclear. And the reality of the situation is I just might. But at this particular moment, that's not my inclination. I want to tell you, first off, before I say anything, I heard them loud and clear. I'm listening. I'm far from perfect. And I will always strive to do better on behalf of my community, for the journalism community, and beyond. In the days and the weeks and the years to come. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to address what was said about me with the fervor that it deserves. Because even though I heard you, even though I am listening, even though I will always strive to do better, that doesn't negate the bullshit that the NABJ did Saturday night or Friday night, whichever night it was. I believe it was Saturday night. It is BS. And I get a lot of people want to pile on and they want to jump on it because you have your own individual feelings about me. I'm here to tell y'all, y'all are entitled to that. Not the NABJ. You're not entitled to that. This is me we're talking about here. I am the same guy that brought a nationally televised show to a journalism conference, which is the NABJ, the last 2 years. Did you have anything to say about me then? Did I get a thumbs down then? First Take, a nationally televised show, which has been
No, he didn't, because this is what I'm saying. He's a victim of success. And to me, it's just flat out jealousy, if you ask me. For him to do this, with me working in entertainment, and there's not a lot of people that come back. Just the mere idea, just the mere thought of him physically coming back and bringing that show to the NABJ. That says it all right there, bro. That says it all. And then you're threatening his journalistic integrity by accusing him of a pattern of disparaging commentary directed at prominent black women. And I would love to see the commentary. If y'all know what commentary, what did he say that really pissed them off? I would love to see that.
One for 14 straight years. we came to the National Association for Black Journalists in Chicago and Cleveland, back-to-back years. Of course, I got to thank ESPN for that. They're the ones that signed off on that. Specifically, now former executive Dave Roberts. It doesn't happen without him. It doesn't happen without ESPN. But you know who else it doesn't happen without? Me. Because if I'm not willing to show up, we ain't coming. But I was there. I was there not just to do the show. I also stood in the booth for over an hour.
Look, his job as a journalist is not to say the things that everybody likes. The man is free to criticize. And you can see how hurt he is because he really doesn't even need to do this. He didn't really even need to bring any energy to it. He could have just not said anything and let this go by, but he's brought a lot of views and a lot of attention to the National Association of Black Journalists. He clearly started his career with this group and loves this group and is hurt. This is a man that is hurt. You say he a MAGA mole. Well, prove that. Prove that he's a MAGA mole because he's criticized, as I brought up previously, he's criticized Donald Trump a lot. You know what I mean? So prove that. I don't know Lively Cuts what color you are, but in the community, in my community, you can definitely be a victim of your success. You ain't seen the hate. Yeah, Don Lemonad's got a white husband. Yes. Cap Alpha Psi representatives for the ladies. Stephen A is a Q, man. He Omega. I don't know what that means. And we don't do honorary, there are no honorary members of Cap Alpha Psi, sir. I believe NABJ is wrong. Yes, 540 at 540 Dre. I do believe NABJ is wrong. I think it's a huge slap in the face, and I think the man has done nothing but support them. Stephen A. Smith is in rare air, similar to Kevin Hart. You know, everybody want to tear Kevin down. Same thing. And then when I look at it from a comedian perspective, Kevin Hart has given more opportunities to black comedians. He's opened so many doors. So many doors. However, niggas will come in and tear him down because of his success, because he's at the peak of the mountain. And I mean, it's not just niggas. It's pretty much a human thing to want, you see the person at the top of the mountain. Everybody wants to pull that person down off the top of the mountain. So whoever was responsible for giving Stephen A. Smith this award, I believe there was some envy and some jealousy in that. When a guy climbs up to 200 million to sit on shows and just talk and analyze and criticize, people get jealous. This happens. So, he's a victim of his success at this moment. I'm sorry. I don't know how LeVar can identify with Stephen A. Smith. I mean, look, like I said, he says things that piss me off, but at the end of the day, he is a journalist. I'm sure I say things that piss you off, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do me as a comedian, a husband, and a father, So I don't get it.
The jobs fair. I also gave a speech. I also mentored and talked to, as I continue to do, young, aspiring black journalists, and I have done that religiously for decades. I started my career at the Philadelphia Inquirer. I know it's the New York Daily News as a high school reporter, but thereafter, in 1994, I began my career at the Philadelphia Inquirer, courtesy of Sandra Long, a longtime executive for the Philadelphia Inquirer, synonymous with the NABJ, whom I first met at the jobs fair of the NABJ. My career started because I was at the NABJ job fair. And yet, Saturday night, I saw the president of the organization, Erin Haynes, go up on stage and give me a thumbs down award for disparaging black women. I received a lot of insults in my day. That might be the lowest. I'll address that in a second, but I want you all to understand the.
And so I'm gonna leave it right there, and we're gonna go over here to some of what people are saying in the chat. Shout out to 540 Dre. So when Puddlefoot sells out venues and you express frustrations through jokes, are you jealous or envious? No, that's how you feel. There is some jealousy and envy in Puddlefoot selling out arenas, lacking talent and not having the skill set. So yes, jealousy and envy is a human emotion. That's a human trait. However, acting on that jealousy and envy boils down to intellect. You can make a decision to allow that to inspire you or infuriate you. Don't get it twisted. Jealousy is in DNA, is programmed in mammals to protect and survive and do all that. You know, that is programmed in you. It like our bottom line basis, that is in us. You know what I mean? You're born a hater, you know, if we really want to get scientific. But it's up to you to decide how to choose those emotions and how to go forward with it. Because when you swallow the bitter pill, there's no winning. That has been debunked. Matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you brought that up. We just talked about that before you got on here. And let me pull that up. See, I already broke all this down. So I already broke all this down. You said he had something to say about Kyrie, right? And he didn't say nothing about Aaron Rodgers. Here we go. Smith has frequently taken aim at Rodgers over the years, criticizing his playoff underperformances, his drama with front offices, and his misleading public statements regarding his COVID-19 vaccination status. There you go. He did talk about him, and he also apologized to Kyrie. However, the National Association of Black Journalists, like I said, they've celebrated Cardi B, they've celebrated Meg Thee Stallion, they've celebrated Bobby Smurder, who all glorify gang shit and all kind of dumbass shit. So I just think this is a real slap in the face, and it comes from a jealous heart. I'm sorry. Why do y'all keep saying that? Stephen A. Smith is an Omega. He's not a Kappa. He's not a Noob. And we don't have honorary members, bro. I don't know why y'all keep saying that. You got sinus drainage. You want to probably get you some over-the-counter Flonase. Try the Flonase and go with some Zyrtec. Zyrtec could dry it up. The Flonase is a steroid that should stop the inflammation in the sinus cavity, and you should feel better. So call me and let me know how it goes. Stephen A. Smith is a you. I mean, look, he was wrong for calling out Kyrie, and he also publicly apologized to Kyrie. Look, people get it wrong sometimes. It's what it is. So, and also too, I didn't like him. Like, this was kind of weird. Well, people criticize him too for going on Sean Hannity. You know, he ran over to Fox News. But hell, after his own people shitted on him and cut him down, where else can he run to? You know what I mean? What's that old parable? They said a child ostracized from the village or not loved by the village will burn the village down to feel its warmth. So let me see. He really hurt by this.
Now, doesn't this have to do specifically with your criticism of radical people on the left? And you did mention a couple of African-American women at times, Jasmine Crockett, who says nutty things, Joy Reid, who says, in my view, nutty things. Is that what this is about?
I think it is. I don't think there's any question about it, and that's why I spoke out against it, because I think it's utterly ridiculous. I was raised by 5 black women. My mother, God rest her soul, and my 4 older sisters. I have 2 daughters. I have 10 nieces. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I find it highly offensive that they would label me in this way. Give me a thumbs down award specifically for disparaging black women. I want everybody out there to know there's no such thing. That did not happen. That is a flat-out lie. And that never happened. Whether it was Jasmine Crockett, whether it was Kamala Harris, whether it was Michelle Obama, I pointed to something that they said that I may have disagreed with. That is all. That is all that I have done. And to enjoy
you said about Michelle Obama,
as well.
She could win. That's what I remember you saying about
Yeah,
her.
but no. Yeah, but remember what happened is that I said that I did not appreciate her saying that a vote for Donald Trump was a vote against women, because I said there are a plethora of reasons why people go to a poll. Some people might prioritize the economy, immigration, safety in the streets of America, national security, etc. There are a plethora of reasons why somebody would choose to vote. To sit up there and to say to African-American men that a vote for Donald Trump would be a vote against women, I said, I don't think that's fair. And that's what I said. My point is, whether you agree or disagree, how does the word disparaging come into play? Or to talk about me degrading and denigrating black women? No.
And look, I really wish, and if in the chat, if you have any proof or can show me, could just point me to where he did say something disparaging against black women to receive this award. Just please pull that up for me, because I haven't found anything. And I asked Gemini.
I've had a difference of opinion about something that they may have said, and that is all. But a journalistic organization that's its foundation is supposed to be based on objectivity, and most importantly, uplifting African Americans within the journalism industry. Well, excuse me, what have I accomplished in my career? Where am I sitting at right now? On September 29th, I'm about to be inducted into the Broadcast and Cable Hall of Fame. I've established myself as one of those people in this industry, but I'm not a Hall of Famer for the NABJ. I brought for my national television show, First Take, from ESPN. In concert with ESPN and the great bosses that I have, we brought First Take, a nationally televised show, every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on ESPN. We brought it to the NABJ conference. When have you seen a nationally televised show broadcasting live from a journalism convention? I did it the last 2 years in Chicago and Cleveland, respectively. But I don't show up this year, and all of a sudden I receive a thumbs down award. I think it's utterly ridiculous. And
I agree with him, bro. I agree with him. And I'm going to tell y'all something, too. This is why I really think he got this thumbs down award. This is the real reason why he got the award. I'm going to show you right here. This is the reason. It really don't have nothing to do with let me show y'all why he got the thumbs down award. Okay, no, somebody showed receipts. So this is him talking about Jasmine Crockett. Let's see what he says. This is what he said. Let me see.
When I point to a Jasmine Crockett, it's because here's what I know. All I ever hear her doing is going off about Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, can I tell you what my belief is? I have no desire to be a politician. Let me reiterate that. And I appreciate House Leader, Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries speaking to me in the way that he did by saying that I speak with the frustration of the American people, because you damn right I do. Let me tell you what gets me annoyed. And I hope Jasmine Crockett is listening to this. By the way, she's welcome on the show. When you go on national television and you call in the president of the United States out of his name, and you're being all disrespectful, as a representative in this country, do you believe the citizens of Texas sent you there to do that? They don't like him either. I'm talking about those who voted for her in all likelihood. But because he is who he is and he is in that position, they expect you to go to Capitol Hill and figure out a way to maneuver yourself through that terrain to work in a fashion that's going to facilitate getting things done on behalf of your constituents. That's your job. That's your job. Excuse my language on Sirius XM, but it ain't your job to say he ain't shit. He ain't worth a damn. That's not your job. Anybody can do that. He's a deal maker. And if you figure out a way to make him look good in any way, quid pro quo is something he lives by. He'll reciprocate. If you know that, why you can't figure it out?
The man is giving her game, bro. He's not making any disparaging remarks. Disparaging remarks would be calling us stupid or something like that. He's giving game. That's not a disparaging remark that he gave, bro. Like, what are we talking about? But this isn't the reason why. Let me tell y'all the reason why. I saw it. This is the reason why. The reason why, where is that at? I want to show y'all. I had all this stuff lined up. Let me see. Yeah, the reason why he got that thumbs down, or what I'm gonna show you how they use these movements. These movements at the Black Woman thing, they just pawns. But this is why. This is the real reason why. It's over this. It's over this clip right here. This is why. It has nothing to do with black women being the spirit. This is why.
Women, how come you didn't write in your language those born female? How come you didn't make that clear? Because if you were born a female, even if you're transitioning to being a female, because you weren't born a female, that would make you ineligible to enter the WNBA. Why didn't you do that? Otherwise, you're going to have cats 6'8" with goatees walking in your league or claiming they're going to walk in your league. You can deny them entry. You can refuse to draft them, but you're going to open yourself up to potential legal action until you clarify what the hell is going on. Player eligibility is collectively bargained, meaning this is also an issue involving the WNBA Players Association, not simply a unilateral decision for the commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, which means that, yes, the league office should have done more, but the Players Association, you got to get on top of it.
It's really about this whole trans thing in the WNBA, to be honest with you. And they using this shit on some pawn shit. This is what happens. That's really what it's about. It's about him speaking out about that more so than anything. And then they manipulate the NABJ to come out with this. This is all stupid. It's really stupid, man. I don't know. I don't know. But let's move on. Let us move on. like I said, I think it's wrong. I don't think it's a good idea what they're doing, but that's just me. That's just me. Yeah. I like that entitlement demons are targeting him. You say I'm Cap. It's really sad though. We gotta look. Let all I would say is this: no matter what he says, whatever he says, give the brother the freedom to criticize openly. Give him the journalistic freedom and the journalistic integrity that you give all journalists, regardless of race. And for him to be at the top, it's like, come on, man. He trying to do good for the community. And I hope he doesn't get too mad and just turn a cold shoulder because a lot of times, you get boxed in and you give up. So I'm hoping he doesn't do that. I hope he doubles down on what he's been doing and continues to open doors for brothers that are going into the journalism space and doing what they do. So I mean, it's not that they do have the freedom to criticize him, but I think it's more personal to him because it's closer to home, bro. It's like he's bought the show to the NABJ. He started at the NABJ. I think that's the issue. If it was anybody else, I don't think he would care. It's just very close to home. I don't think anybody is normalizing attacking black women. He didn't attack black women. He criticized black women. And I mean, he get criticized back. All I'm doing is calling out him helping this organization out, him giving back to this organization, and they just cutting his throat. That's all I'm calling out. Everybody is open to criticize whoever they want to criticize. I'm just calling out the hypocrisy in it, man. That's all. And shout out to Sunshine for the 200 jewels. I appreciate the gift. And also Antonio Foster for the 5 jewels. I appreciate that. I mean, you can criticize who you want, like I say, but it's what it is. I don't know what SYSB, Shacho Simp. What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what the hell that means. I'm getting old, man. Y'all gotta. Is this shut your simp something up? Can you tell me what that mean, bro? What? I'm a cis black male. What's a what does that mean? Save yourself, black man? What are we talking about? What explain? Could y'all expound on this? Please expound on saving myself. What does that mean? I mean, I would hope to say I can't save you if I can't save myself. I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. But I would tell Stephen A, bro, you gonna have to chill, just let it go, because people gonna keep pounding and pounding on this. Wait, pause, I guess. I gotta say pause after that. I want to get into the. Oh my God, have y'all seen this? Did y'all see the opening statements of the Keefe D trial, bro? Oh my goodness. When I tell y'all, man, Keefe D should throw his hands up and just say, "Y'all got me, man." I mean, this trial is insane. I don't think this trial gonna go too long either, man. I want y'all to check this out. Look at this. And this is the opening statement. I do not think this is gonna last.
On September 7th, 1996, Tupac Shakur came to Las Vegas to attend a Mike Tyson fight. After the fight, Tupac, along with Suge Knight, Trayvon Lane, and other people that were with that group, ran into a person named Orlando Anderson. And Orlando Anderson is the defendant's nephew. And when they encountered Orlando Anderson sitting by himself, they attacked him. That attack was captured on video. Then, a few hours later, Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight drive down Flamingo Road to Club 662, where Tupac is scheduled to perform a concert. Then 2.5 hours later, after Tupac and Suge engaged in the beating of Orlando Anderson, they are gunned down. Tupac is gunned down in a drive-by shooting from a white Cadillac in an act of revenge. During those 2.5 hours, you will learn that the defendant was escalating and planning the retribution for the beating of his beloved nephew. Now, let's be clear. Dwayne Davis did not pull the trigger. But what he did do was plan the retaliation for the beating of his nephew. You will learn that Dwayne Davis got the gun. You will learn that he got into a white Cadillac. You will learn when the opportunity presented itself for retribution, Dwayne Davis made sure that the shooters were armed and ready to execute their revenge. And remarkably, you will learn that from Dwayne Davis himself. But to understand what happened on September 7th, 1996, on the streets of Las Vegas, we need to go about 275 miles west to the city of Compton, California. What you'll learn is that Compton is about 10 square miles. But in the mid-1990s, those 10 square miles were occupied by over 30 gangs claiming its territory. And important to this case, there are two gangs, Mob Piru, and the Southside Compton Crips. Let's talk a little bit about the Mob Piru.
Y'all gotta watch this, man, because they about to, man, listen. He is in a no-win situation, bro.
Eric,
Look how they lay it out. Look how they lay this out.
but is about 10 square miles.
Watch how they lay
But
this
in
out.
the mid-1990s, those 10 square miles were occupied by over 30 gangs claiming its territory. And important to this case, there are two gangs, Mob Piru and the Southside Compton Crips. Let's talk a little bit about the Mob Piru. The Mob Piru is a group that associated with the color red. And you'll hear that Suge Knight, the person who was driving Tupac Shakur that night, grew up in the neighborhood of Mob Piru. But by the mid-1990s, he had become a very successful CEO of the record label Death Row Records. But despite, or maybe because of where he came from, you'll hear that Suge Knight continued to employ Mob Piru gang members as part of Death Row. They would act as unofficial security, and other times they would engage in, let's call them other acts, on behalf of Suge Knight. But Death Row in the mid-1990s, record labels around. They had artists such as Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, a movie star, having appeared in a number of movies in critically acclaimed roles. He has at times been referred to as an icon. But for the purposes of this case, what you need to know is that Tupac Shakur was not a gangster. He was a hip-hop artist associated with the Mob Piru. Now, the other gang that's important to know here is the Southside Compton Crips. And when it comes to Southside, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was the leader of the Burris Street faction of the Southside Compton Crips. And while Suge Knight rose to prominence in his neighborhood, Dwayne Davis rose to prominence in his neighborhood because he was a very successful, large-scale drug trafficker. And moves up in the world of gangs by bringing in money to the neighborhood. The other thing you'll learn is that Orlando Baby Lane Anderson was his nephew and also a highly respected member of the Southside Compton Crips. Now, as part of this case, you're going to hear another name, Eric Zip Martin. Now, Eric Zip Martin is not a member of the Southside Compton Crips. In fact, he was worried. There, you'll hear that Trayvon Lane, Bruce Sullivan, he disposed of Shakur. What we learn is that Dwayne Davis is upset about the beating of his nephew. And frankly, that's not an unusual response. What's unusual is the next steps Dwayne Davis takes. Unusual for the normal person, maybe not unusual for in gang culture. He is going to organize a...
I just wanted to get to the part where he said, this is what was really going to implicate Keefe D. Not only his own witness testimony of these accounts where they use them for Vlad TV and Art of Dialogue, but one of the things the lawyer said is that after, they took Tupac out, it turned into a gang war, which led to the death and an unsolved murder of an 11-year-old girl through retaliation. So he's cooked, man. And I'm about to get out of here. I'm tired now. I hope y'all enjoyed today's show. I'm about to wrap this up. And I'm going to come with it tomorrow with y'all. So appreciate the love. I hope we agreed. And if we didn't agree, we could agree to disagree, but still be amicable and respectful toward one another. So that's the end of this show, man. I will see you guys tomorrow.